I found this sticker that they were putting out. I don't even think they even really had a band yet. They were just making flyers and making stickers. Somehow I got a hold of a Marilyn Manson sticker. It was had a picture of like Charles Manson on it, and it was kind of like superimposed with some girl's face, so it looked like Charles Manson was a girl. Anyways, I got this sticker, and that's how I heard of Marilyn Manson. One of the first times I met Brian was at this club in Miami on South Beach called the Kitchen Club. He came up to me and told, me and Brian, we used to see each other out a lot at clubs. You know, it's sort of like that weird like tension thing. We'd give each other dirty looks. You know, kind of like when you're in high school, the girls are always like looking at each other like, that girl's too fat to wear that dress. You know, it was kind of like that relationship we had before we actually met each other. To back up a little bit, Brian saw me at this other club one night at the Button South. This band, Saigon Kick, was playing, who at the time I couldn't stand them. I thought they were like a total Jane's Addiction ripoff, and they just annoyed the hell out of me. Anyways, I was at their show at the Button, and I was like pretty messed up, you know, back in the day when I did that sort of thing. Anyways, I made it up to the front of the stage. Singer Matt, he comes over sort of like where I'm standing, and I just had this uncontrollable urge just to like spit in his face. I just couldn't stand him. I just sat there and just, oh God, I just spit right in his face. Anyways, I turn around and I just walk away. Anyways, Brian saw that and he said to himself, you know, I gotta get that guy in my band. He's exactly what I'm looking for, you know, young, loud, and snotty, you know. So anyways, that's what turned, you know, him on to me. I liked the Manson idea. I liked what Brian wanted to do with the band. And, you know, I thought it was kind of cool, the different, you know, characters and all that. So that was when I first saw them play at the Reunion Room. You know, after the show, me and Brian talked. You know, and he told me about, you know, again how he wanted a new bass player and he thought I'd fit in the band and this and that. So, you know, we decided that Scott would come to my house. You know, Daisy, the guitar player, he would come over and show me few songs that they had or whatever. And, you know, he started showing me the songs, and I learned how to play them. And I learned how to play bass as I was learning the songs because I was playing guitar in my band that I was in. I was in the band for maybe a few weeks, and we played together in front of people for the first time at this 4th of July party. We played it at a trailer park. In the back of a trailer, in like this screened-in porch, and like a few like white trash people hanging out in the grass, you know, all tripping on acid the 4th of July, you know, watching us play. That was our first show, you know, in front of people. Really wasn't a show, but afterwards, you know, everybody was partying and all that. And this was like one of my first, you know, experiences getting to know the guys, you know, first impressions and all that. Scott, Daisy, the guitar player, he like got some acid, you know, took some acid from somebody or whatever. Anyways, he starts, you know, tripping and all that, and somebody tries to throw him in a pool or something, and he totally like flips out, goes crazy. Second time we played was we opened up for 9 Inch Nails on South Beach at Club New, and there was like thousands of people. It was like pretty bizarre here. We're this band that nobody really heard of, and we're opening up for like one of the biggest bands at the time. You know, when I first joined the band, you know, they still didn't have the image yet, like, you know, it evolved into. You know, I brought a lot of like the things that I was into to the band to like try to make our image, you know, more exciting. And, you know, I always liked bands like Kiss and, you know, just bands that were crazy, over the top, theatrical, and had a cool image. And one of the things I brought to the band was I was into collecting lunchboxes. You know, and I used to carry a lunchbox all around with me, kind of like a purse, you know, to keep my stuff in it. And, you know, Brian liked that idea, so he started carrying lunchbox around. So we thought it'd be cool if we all carried lunchboxes, you know, it'd be like a band thing. And so we all did, except for Scott. He would have no part of it. Didn't want nothing to do with carrying. He was too cool for that. And I said, Scott, okay, you don't want to carry a lunchbox. Why don't you carry a paper bag, like a lunch bag? And that would be cool because, you know, your character that you come from, you know, Berkowitz, he used to carry his gun in a paper bag when he'd go to kill people. You know, he'd have his bulldog revolver in a paper bag. So it'd be cool, you know, instead of a lunchbox, a lunch bag, and he could carry his stuff in a lunch bag. It'd be kind of cool, but no, he didn't want nothing to do with that. Scott was always like that. He just didn't want to have anything to do with anything, with like being like a rock star, having like a cool image, or just like that. He was a total musician. You know, he wasn't a performer. He just, you know, just anti-cool, and he always strived for that. Just didn't want to have nothing to do with you know, being, you know, cool or whatever. I guess he felt like he couldn't be cool, so he'd go the other way. Well, Donald Wayne Gacy, that guy's like a genius. He used to be an engineer. He would draft, like, build robots and crazy stuff like that. The guy's so smart that you can't talk to him because he won't shut up. He'll tell you, like, the square root of, like, you know, 666 and tell you how it's related to this, and he'll tell you how they invented numbers on top of that and this and that. Anyways, but I love Steve. He's great. I actually gave him the name Pogo because when Donald Wayne Gacy, that was his. He used to dress up like a clown, entertain you know, little kids. When he wasn't killing kids, he'd be clowning with kids, and his clown name was Pogo. So I thought that'd be cool if Steve's nickname would be Pogo. Sarah Lee Lucas, I came up with his name too. I thought you know, Sarah Lee the Cakes and Henry Lee Lucas. I thought he was like a pretty cool guy, that killer. He had some good qualities about him. Anyways, so those two names seem to go good together, Sarah Lee, Henry Lee Lucas. Anyways, yeah, he was okay, you know. I never had a problem with Fred, and he took me a couple of times to like cop dope up in West Palm Beach, like a couple of shows. He used to like want to take me. He'd be like, "Oh, can I go with you? Can I watch you do it? This and that." Well, when I was in Manson, that's when I first started doing you know, the hard stuff. And like I said, I wasn't doing it every day. Like when I was in Manson, from the first time I did dope until I left the band, I might have did it maybe 10 times at the most, and that's like through a 4-year period. But anyways, there was a couple of times where I took too much, I overdosed, and one of those times was on my birthday after a show we played at the Button South, you know. And again, that show wasn't messed up either. It seemed like I'd do good at the shows, but afterwards is when it's like when you come off stage, you're like, you get this total down. At least I would, you know. I'd be high on stage just naturally, and I'd come off stage and I'd just go looking for it again. So anyways, that night I went looking for something, and I got something. It was just too much for me to handle, and I OD'd. And then the second time was, like I said, on my birthday, and came home after the show. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I go into the bathroom and I act like I'm taking a shower, and then I, like, you know, OD again. And then my girlfriend, she had to bust the door open again that time. And as soon as I come out of it, like, the paramedics are over me, and, you know, I see all these bright lights, and I come to, and then the paramedics are like, "What's wrong with you? You're stupid. Wake up. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing this to yourself?" And all I could think about was, I didn't think like, "Oh, wow, I'm glad I'm alive," this and that. I just couldn't believe it happened again. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening again." But anyway, so they take me to the hospital. They do what they have to do. Then I got arrested while I'm in the hospital. The cops are like reading me my rights and this and that. And I'm like all handcuffed to the bed. And that's one thing that kept me anchored while I was in the band. That's why I could dabble and I didn't like get really heavily into anything. I just had something to occupy my time with. I'd get high, but then I'd have stuff to do. Anybody that wants to do that stuff, you know, trust me, it's not worth it. The whole, like, being sick and, oh God, feeling like you got bugs crawling under your skin. Before I left the band, this was the week right before everything hit the fan, and, you know, I got fired or whatever. I went into, it was Christmas Eve, 1993 or 94, whenever that was, and the week leading up to this incident, I was, like, totally out of control. I was, like, drinking a lot and dabbling with pills, and I did, you know, the hard stuff a little bit here and there, but I definitely didn't have, like, a habit, as, you know, some people think, you know, there's, like, words spoken that I was a junkie, this and that definitely was not the case. So anyways, I was a real mess at that time, and I got talked into going into rehab for Christmas Eve, so I went into rehab on actually 2 days before Christmas. Anyways, on Christmas Eve, I get a Federal Express letter delivered to me in the rehab clinic, and I just gotten there, you know, 2 days earlier, but I thought somebody sent me like a Christmas card. I was like, cool, you know, here it is, you know, I'm all alone, maybe somebody's thinking about me. Anyways, I open up the package, and it's a letter from my manager telling me I'm no longer needed in the band, you know, we don't need you anymore, you know, this and that, real professional. And I was like, geez, you know, I'm here trying to get my, you know, my stuff together, and you can't even wait until I get out to tell me what's going on. Plus, you got to do it to me on Christmas Eve, send this letter to me. So that's how I left the band. But anyways, a few days later, I think it was 2 days before New Year's Eve, that Brian came to visit me while I was in rehab. He told me, like, don't worry, you know, we have like a couple of shows we got to play, but, you know, he's going to fill in for you. We need to play these shows. We can't cancel them. They're already booked. So, you know, you get your head together, and once you're good again, you can come back to the band and still play with us. Don't worry about it. So he didn't even have like the balls to tell me then that, you know, I was out of the band. So he never, I don't even think he ever even told me that I was out of the band. He just, like, the managers told me, and, you know, we never even really talked about it, you know, just, I don't know. I can't understand how Brian, like, he can condone drug use now, and he has, like, the big sign that says drugs, drugs, and he talks about drugs and writes songs about drugs and this and that, and, like, glamorize it, you know, and this and that. When he saw what it did to me, and he'd cry to me every time I'd get into trouble with something, or I'd be like messing up, and he'd always like talk to me about it, and, you know, he always was just trying to save me and this and that, and he's like doing like the same thing now, and he's like, whether he's doing it for real or not, or if it's just like a publicity stunt, I don't know what he's doing for real, but I can't understand how he could condone that when he saw what it did to me, like, because people like that is one of the reasons I turned into what I did, because, you know, it was all the rock stars and, you know, actors and writers that were all messed up, you know, decadent people that I was into that made me take that path, and he's probably turning millions of kids into like what I was, and I can't understand how he could do that. I don't know if he's like, he forgot what I was about or what, but it's just, I don't understand how he can do that to the kids. I wouldn't want anybody to go through what I went through. Yeah, a lot of bands I see nowadays that guys that the bands, you know, these guys get involved with drugs, and like one member leaves, and, you know, they still stay tight. Like the Chili Peppers, for instance, that guy John, that Frusciante that was in that band, they just got him back, and he was all messed up on drugs, you know, like years ago, and they still kept in contact with him, and, you know, he got back in the band. I just think that's what I always wanted a band to be, you know, like a brotherhood. I think you should be tight, and just because somebody, you know, has like a weakness and does something, you know, they shouldn't be doing, you know. It wasn't my fault that you know, I guess it was my fault that I took the wrong path, but you know, I had a sickness, you know, and I couldn't control myself, and I don't think I should be like hated for it or shunned, or have them, you know, Brian and them turn their back on me. I just can't understand how we could be so tight and they could just do that to me. I didn't rip him off or do anything bad. I didn't like sleep with his girlfriend like he should hate me. And it's just like Brian and then those guys that seems like they have no loyalty or like no, I mean, chivalry is dead. They're just, I don't know. It's one for one and like all for me, I guess. It's their attitude, it seems. It's sad because, you know, me and Brian were pretty tight, you know. That's the thing I miss the most about them days, is like the whole, like, you know, not getting as much money as I should, this and that, being ripped off, whatever. That's neither here nor there, but I just miss the relationship we had, because we were really tight, and it's like, and I was just stupid to throw all that away, you know, just because of, I left the band, you know. After Manson, there was like, I had to get a job, you know, I couldn't. It's sad because, you know, me and Brian were pretty tight, you know. That's the thing I miss the most about them days, is like the whole, like, you know, not getting as much money as I should, this and that, being ripped off, whatever. That's neither here nor there, but I just miss the relationship we had, because we were really tight, and it's like, and I was just stupid to throw all that away, you know, just because of, I left the band, you know. After Manson, there was like, I had to get a job, you know, I couldn't. After Manson, there was like, I had to get a job, you know, I couldn't. I couldn't be the cute, young, you know, rock and roller in a band anymore and have, like, girls support me, you know, left and right, so I had to support myself. So I had all these different jobs. One job I had was working for the medical examiner in Miami. I'd pick up, dead people all day long and deliver them to the medical examiner. It was pretty nasty, but at the same time, it was pretty interesting. But we just would goof all the time. You had to have a sense of humor with that type of job. It was just, if you didn't, you'd lose your mind. I had to quit that job after a while because I had this thing started happening to me. I started associating dead people. I would sort of feel like I was with them when they died. I was starting to imagine their death, and it was getting too personal, and it just freaked me out after a while. I couldn't deal with it. I lost the sense of humor you got to have with playing with dead people. Well, my new band, the Dollygaggers, it's if I could compare it to something or describe it, what I'm trying to get at is Ziggy Stardust grew up in the ghetto listening to Slayer. That's the whole concept. I like that whole David Bowie, glam thing. Then I love Slayer, I like that hard. So that's what I wanted, a kind of glam, polished type band with a heavy sound. And then, growing up in the ghetto, I like a lot of rap, so I like that whole urban street thing. When I was in Manson, I had a side project, and that's where the Dollygaggers started from. So I've been in New York for 3 years, and it came up a guy I'm playing in the band with, the guitar player. He tracked me down in Florida, had me come up here to try to start a band with him, and so we started a band, wrote some songs, we made a record, about 6 months ago. We've just been shopping it to. Actually just I recorded it myself, paid with it for my own money pretty much. Have no record labels involved. I'm kind of trying to stay away from that whole record label thing now. I just wanted to do it for myself because, I sold 1 million records in the past and I didn't really make that much money anyway, so, record deals aren't good for squat, it seems. When I first got asked to do this video for the first version, I'm a shy guy generally, and I don't like doing a lot of interviews and this and that. I just pretty much keep to myself. I really wasn't into it at first, but I saw it when it came out. I thought it was pretty cool, and I liked the stand it took. It wasn't really I thought maybe it'd be kissing ass towards Brian, being more biased towards him, but it was cool. A lot of good things were said about me, and a lot of people that I didn't even know that knew some of the stories. They said a lot of things that were true, like that. That was really nice. How that was portrayed when it could have gone any other direction. A lot of times I don't even do interviews. People have to call me 10 times just to do an interview, which. I'm grateful to do it and all that, but I'm just, I don't know whether I'm just lazy or just antisocial or what, so that's why I wasn't really hip on it in the beginning. Just didn't feel plus I didn't want to have anything to do with Manson. It was just that part of my life was pretty much over, and I don't want to seem like I'm riding coattails or hanging on to the past. It took me a long time to get over the the hurt and the breakup. I guess now I can say people would probably think that somebody like me would be bitter, being kicked out of one of the biggest bands of all time, but I'm not bitter at all. I wish them the best of luck. The better they do, the more money I make, because I have publishing rights for all those songs, and I wish them the best of luck. Maybe someday, me and Brian, we still might, work together in the future. I'd probably do something with him again, but who knows? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't think. I haven't said nothing bad about him. I love the guy. I wish you, give me a call if you see it, man. I got no hard feelings, and I know you ain't got no hard feelings towards me. I just, I wish we could sort of have that friendship, me and him had in the past, because that's what I miss the most about those days, me and him being tight. I never had a friend like that, and I haven't since, it's just, that was the biggest loss, losing, the money or the fame or whatever, that's easy to get over, It took me years to get over it, but I did, but still, I still have a soft spot, I still get a soft spot in my heart for the old fool. I'm a softie.